Not long ago, we were stuck, grinding jobs we hated. But there's so much more to life than that.
We decided to do everything that everyone told us could not be done. Now we're flipping houses, we own multiple companies, and we're here to prove that you never have to settle for mediocrity.
I tour with my band, we run our companies together, and we've manifested a life beyond our wildest dreams, all by having the courage to take the leap and ignore the naysayers.
We declared mutiny on the life we were handed. Now we are here to share how we did it with you.
Tune in for inspiring stories, manifestation techniques, and real advice. We'll show you the steps to flip your mindset, your money, and your life.
Welcome to the Mutiny Model.
Ready to join the rebellion? Let's chart your course. Welcome, everybody, to the Mutiny Model, empowering your strategic rebellion. My name is Stephanie. I'm your hostess with the mostest. And here beside me is my husband, Patrick, wearing a shirt with my face on it.
Patrick WB in the building, repping Stephanie Jasmine today. Yeah. Oh, and...
Oh my God, you have double Stephanie Jasmine?
Double Stephanie Jasmine. Oh yeah, I'm repping. It's gonna be a fun show today, so yeah, I dressed the role. Let's we have a fun show coming up.
This is a laid-back show. This is a kickback show. We're literally just here to tell you the most unhinged, craziest real estate stories that we have.
And we got a ton of them. We got a few.
And we got a few.
Yeah, we got a few.
Some of them are not appropriate for all audiences. We met before the show and we were like, that's good, but we can't tell that. We might get in trouble for that one.
Nope.
But we're gonna we got some good stuff. I mean, we've had people throwing ACs out windows at walkthroughs. You had someone run away from you when you asked them to sign a piece of paper one time, literally disappear, ghost out the building. That's crazy.
I know, and I was waiting for them to come back. I thought it was a joke. I thought they were doing like one of those punks or something shows, you know. And I asked them to sign. It wasn't anything crazy either. It wasn't a contract. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
It was some kind of a disclosure.
It was like an addendum or a disclosure.
Yeah, where like an agency disclosure.
The man was scared.
Saying, I'm an agent. I was just trying to tell the person I'm a licensed agent. They ran.
The man was scared. But it's like, no, you know, we wanted to do like a lighter show because we've packed, we're almost at the end of our first season, and we've packed a lot of knowledge, a lot of like strategic stuff into, you know, how do you get started in real estate? How do you start your own business? How do you, how do you manifest? How do you set big goals? How do you make a vision board? We've gone through all that stuff, and the thing is, guys, it's like, it's the journey. It's not the destination. If you're going to embark on any kind of entrepreneurial journey, it's you want to get to that destination. You have to make goals, of course, but like you have to enjoy your journey. And our journey at some times over the last 10 years has been so crazy. We've been laughing and crying all at once. All at once.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
I don't know where the blood part came from, but, you know.
Probably, yeah.
It could be figuratively speaking or literal. Yeah, maybe I fell a few times on a home inspection or something. You know, it happens.
Oh my God.
It happens. It's hitting you, isn't it? Like all.
No, I just
all
thought of another one that we can't tell. So don't.
Oh, all that.
Listen, why don't you kick us off? Tell me the story of the guy that ran away from you.
Oh, it was a routine. It's supposed to be a routine type of deal here.
Basically, like he thought he wanted to buy a house and then he got scared, right? Like you found him a house.
Yes.
Yeah. So what happened?
And if I remember correctly, I think. Again, this had nothing to do with a contract at that time.
Yeah.
I think, part of, before you show somebody a property, they have to sign on an agency disclosure.
Yeah.
Just something, you know, that explains my role as an agent, you know, what I'm going to be doing. I'm not going to be discriminating against somebody, and I'm licensed and everything like that. So it's a disclosure. Just telling somebody essentially that I am an agent and I'm licensed.
And that's it.
And I'm here to help you.
And this dude came to your office to meet with you.
Yes.
To sign that.
Mm-hmm. And again, I thought this was like some kind of I thought you were pranking me. I thought you told them go in there and go out there. And
I wasn't really involved much. That was when you were at the other brokerage.
Well,
in
that's
Lowell.
why it would have made this a better story if like you punked me or something, right? But no, it wasn't. This was real life. This is real life. So the guy, when we meet in the office and explained a few things, and then and it's like before you even talk about business, really. This is the form you got to sign. So he had just walked in. This is a few minutes. It's formalities. Hello, hi, shake hands. And then sits down. I offered him a drink or something. You know, he cracked the can open and I think he took one sip. And then I said, okay, so this is, before we continue, here you go. This is something you got to sign. Explain. I can't make this up. The man hastily got up.
But you turned around to the printer, right? I remember this part of the story because you were physically printing.
Yes.
So it was like a movie. Like you turned around, you printed the stuff. He was there. He was there when you turned around.
I thought he was maybe trying to go to the bathroom, like hastily.
Yeah.
No, but he hastily went through the door, the front door, and I see him running across the parking lot because I looked out the window, and I'm still going, this can't be real. This is not real, but it was real. The man left.
That fear got him, babe.
I know, people.
That fear got him.
You know, it's like when I tell people about real estate, it's like our roles, most of us agents that have had perfected their craft, I call it, right? Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, we just look at it like we're helping people through, you know, this purchase in a sense, right?
Yeah.
You know, we work from the first-time home buyers to savvy investors who are buying.
In our heyday when we were agents.
Yes, all right, we're talking about when we were agents, right?
Yeah.
So people that have, you know, I mean, minimal money to purchase, to work with, and, you know, you still try to help them, obviously.
It's like a big spectrum.
Right.
Yeah.
So I I use that analogy, and I have investors who are very wealthy, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just say they're worth millions of dollars, and they're buying apartment buildings and huge, you know, properties. And those guys, it's so interesting to see the mindsets of the two different types of people. Yeah. Again, first-time home buyers, and I get that. As a first-time home buyer, we were scared. I was scared buying my first property.
Yeah.
You know, this is before we even were licensed, correct? Like.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, our first two-family, we were not licensed.
You're right.
Yeah.
So you got to put yourself in those people's shoes, right? And that's what made us, because I'm very, you know, I've been known to be very compassionate. You know, I care a lot for people. I want to see people do well. So when I recognize somebody is like having like fear, you know, I can relate, and I can like try to help them through it, you know.
Yeah.
So but so many stories of people just freaking out and crying. I've had people crying.
Oh, many.
Home inspections.
Many times.
You know, then you get to a place where you go, there's no crying at home inspections. You can't cry. You know, I've actually said that in our first meeting before I even take these people out to a show in them houses. I said, part of my script now, part of my thing is if I feel like those people are people who I think are going to cry on me, I'm going to tell them in the meeting, there's no crying at home inspection. People cry, oh, the roof is bad, and they cry, and the doorknob's loose, and they cry.
Hard. It's hard, man.
And I'm like, no, we want to know these things, because then I'm able to like figure out how we can get this addressed before you buy the house.
Yeah.
It's not about, you're going to lose this thing. And so anyways, it's cool. I think definitely for sure, our experience working in the psych field, you as a psych nurse, myself as a psych counselor, helped us immensely when we did that.
It's amazing. It's almost like our lives set us up to do that, to get through that other part in our life, like, because just the de-escalation and because it's that thing in your brain where the fear kicks in. You know, this is something new, and it just new things always feel unsafe, whether they are or not.
Yes.
So they come, you know, people say that we want to buy a house, and then when it's actually time and it's like, wow, this thing is $500,000 that we're buying. Yeah. Like, let's freak out. Yeah. You know, and then we've helped a lot of people through that, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so one of my cool saying is, you know, I like to share this with my audience, with our audience here, is like fear, right? I feel like there are two ways to describe fear. The acronym, FEAR, and I'm actually going to get a tattoo of this, so you know.
Okay.
Get ready for it.
I
So
keep hearing about all the tattoos.
I know. I'm still figuring it out. So fear. I adopted this many years ago, and the acronym FEAR is like you can either forget everything and run, or face everything and rise.
Ooh.
Boom, T-shirt.
That's
See, look
good.
at that, people.
That's
Like
good.
that, right? So of course I'm
That's
gonna
good.
get the other one. That sounds good. Not the forget everything.
You're not gonna run?
No,
You're
I'm
gonna face
rising.
it?
I'm rising above
You're gonna face it?
everything. That's right.
What about when we bought our first two family? That thing was ugly.
I had fear. The first fear.
You had.
I had to forget everything and run.
You almost offed yourself. Remember?
Wait, doing the
When we
oh
were fixing it up.
oh yeah.
Oh my God.
That's a good story.
You guys, he is banned from electrical. A banned.
This is
As
not
he
good.
should be.
This is not good.
We were so we were doing it. We were doing it all ourselves. We bought an ugly two family. We were like, we're gonna live in this, fix it up, and something good's gonna happen. We didn't know what, and it did. But that's a whole nother story. But we told that in the first episode, actually. I think
Which one?
of selling how we sold our first two units.
Of
that we
course,
took
yeah.
back. And we got a check for $95K, and we were like, we should do this because we had never seen that amount of money in our lives before.
And I liked it.
Yeah.
And I was addicted.
Yeah.
I've continued ever
You got the
since.
real estate bug. You got the real estate bug. That was over 10 years ago. So, what was I saying? I lost my train.
You talk about the two family and that right.
Yeah, we're
that
gonna,
off
we're gonna
off
have
myself.
to cut this out. But okay, ready? Yeah. So when we bought that two family, we gave up all our weekends. Like we were like, we're not going out. We're gonna paint. We're gonna be doing flooring, DIY. We were at Home Depot all the time.
Yep.
And I think we were painting our kitchen cabinetry and stuff like that.
Yes. Yep.
And so of course we had taken all the electrical plates out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that I had to tell you not to touch behind the wires
With a power drill.
with a drill. I didn't know that was something that you were about to do. So I'm in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
I see sparks. Electricity goes out. Tell them what you did.
Well, mind you, before we bought this house, so listen, for context, people, so the thing is, we bought this ugly house. Our very first property was an ugly two family, right? And I had never worked on anything crafty construction. I grew up in the city.
Yeah.
You have
Wasn't
parents
your thing.
who did that, maybe to pass it on to me, fix a car, change a tire, none of that.
Yep.
So, and this is where the grind comes in.
And you
of
were
us,
pushing
right?
yourself out of your comfort zone.
Of course. Think
You were
about
like,
it.
we're going to paint our own kitchen. Are you crazy?
Think about it.
And I was like, yeah, we are.
Think about it.
Yeah.
So I was actually doing something brave here, right?
Yep.
So anyway, so like you said, all the electrical, we had to open up the switch plates and everything like that. So we were prepping one of the walls to get painted.
Yeah.
So once you open the switch plate, obviously you see the actual switch, and there's like all this metal. So there was actually some gunk, like dirt, caked all around the metal. So again, now that I replayed in my head, this is not smart, okay? So I happen to have a power drill. So in my mind, I thought I could chip some of the dirt off.
Let me clean this.
Yeah, I was trying to clean. And metal with electricity, clearly, folks, if you don't know, it does not work. I remember hitting the wrong spot, and there was a 4th of July show in my face, like the sparks went everywhere. I must have knocked the whole neighborhood out, because I don't know if I knocked the neighborhood out. Like, and I remember when that happened, I froze, like in place. The whole house was dark. Imagine, because we were doing this at nighttime. It was nighttime, right? So it was like.
And thank God, like the drill.
I didn't breathe. I held my breath.
You did not get shocked at all because the drill itself was plastic.
I was in the underworld. I thought I was gone by this time. So I just was making sure everything was intact. I don't know if death felt like this, like you're real, it's not real. I didn't know what the heck was happening. And then only I got jarred when you were in the other room. You go, babe, is everything okay?
Are you
And you
okay?
come running
Yeah.
through, and I was still frozen because it was
You were
cold.
frozen with the drill. You were like this
I did.
in front of, and it was like such a guilty like scene because I could barely see you.
Why did I look like Marv from Home Alone? You remember like
Yes.
Marv, because it was cold, I had my little hat. It's like crooked, like my hood, my hoodie was like this. I was shaking. I think I was shaking. I was like, I am okay. I didn't.
And I was just like in awe. I was like, there's no way you just did that.
Did that happen?
You got quite the lecture.
And I'm traumatized since that day.
And that's the day I banned you from electricity.
I learned a lesson,
any
guys.
electrical work.
I learned a lesson. Thank God I'm still here, right? But yeah, that's
your guardian angels. Thank you.
I know.
Right?
Thank y'all. Thank you. Any funny stories from you? Because I know we got a ton. I want you to tell a good one too.
Like tenant-wise, or I'm trying to think.
There's a million. Take your pick.
Well, I have a good tenant story. So from that house, when we moved out, we got tenants, right? And upstairs was like our friends, and they had a dog, and downstairs was the new family, the new tenants, and they were smokers.
You talk about that for our two family.
Yeah.
Yes, you got to tell this one. This is a good one.
And they were like, "We'll smoke outside, whatever." So, there's things like when you're a new landlord, there's scenarios that come up all the time, and you're like, what can I legally say? What can I do? Right? Like you don't know because you're scared to it's just because there's so many tenant protection laws. You're scared to break the laws, right? So you got to ask your lawyer every conversation, every interaction. So tenants upstairs complained. They were like, they're down there in the house smoking with oxygen tanks in the house, and I was like, oh, that sounds dangerous. and I was like, do you? And I'm like trying to justify it. I'm like, do you think she's wearing the oxygen while she's smoking? Maybe she takes it off. And they're like, no, we've seen her. Yeah. They're like, we're afraid we're going to be at work and our dog is going to explode. So can you talk to them?
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I'm like, okay. I think I can tell her. I'm like, is there smoking protection laws? What can I say? What can I do?
Right.
I don't know what I can say. I can't tell her not to smoke. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. So anyways, I called the lady and I was like, listen, at least can you not smoke inside the house? Because that's in the lease. You can't, no smoking inside.
Right.
That's good. I can say that. I was like, well, you have the oxygen tanks in the house, and then when you're smoking in the house, that's like dangerous. You know what this woman said to me?
Go ahead, tell the people.
She goes, well, I can't smoke outside.
Yeah.
And I said, why not? And she goes, I have bronchitis.
I was pre-laughing already because I knew you were gonna say. I knew what you were gonna say.
She was like shocked at the suggestion.
To this day, it's still mind-boggling, right? It's like, lady, you should not be smoking with bronchitis. That's number one. You have a health issue.
And of course, I wanted to say, well, maybe you should stop smoking, right?
No.
But again, I'm like, probably can't say this. Probably illegal. I don't know.
You know what I actually think? I think it was probably shocking for you to hear that answer. Think about it.
If
somebody hit me with that,
I
would
was
have
definitely
been like, my brain, I think I would have been disconnected. A wire would have went loose first, like, and then because you pause, you go, am I supposed to really tell this lady? No. First of all, you're not supposed to smoke in the property. Like, that's the first thing.
There's so many, first of all.
There is no. And this particular person, like, I remember when because I have like a big teddy bear. So before we took him on as tenants and I saw them, I met them, I was like, oh, they're so nice. Like,
oh, yeah.
And
very nice.
and I remember in the meeting, they were like, she goes, so we smoke, but we will always smoke outside.
Yeah.
And I was like, aw, that's so nice. Months later.
We were new at this,
Yeah, we knew the people upstairs. Our friend lived upstairs, so they were like, they're smoking in the house, so And then they were like, and then I think when we heard that, we immediately were like, well, wait a minute. They have oxygen tanks in that house.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
No, that's not okay.
Yeah.
I don't want my friend's socks blown to the moon if that thing goes off. Like, what are we doing? So I actually did it more to protect my buddy. I was like, dude, like, no, wait, you can't be doing this. Like, if it's one thing, you don't care about your safety down here.
Yeah.
But this whole thing could go up, and if the wrong thing happens here, oxygen not to be joked with. You heard of stories like that, so that was nuts.
All right, I told my funniest tenant story. What is your favorite one? I know we have a lot. What's your favorite one?
It's not. It's still hard to pick a favorite room, but I'm gonna tell one.
Okay.
Just because you asked me that, right?
Okay.
So,
I don't know which one you're gonna tell.
we own this building, and I was heading up there. We were getting junk removal done
Okay.
at the building, and I was on the way up there to kind of just supervise or be around as this was getting done.
Oh my God. Just from the outside, right? We weren't taking people's inside.
No,
It
no,
was just
this
stuff
was
that they had put around the building.
Correct.
As they thought it was like their storage.
correct. So
And
yeah,
we
let me
were like, no,
specify
this looks like
because
trash.
you know
Yeah.
before my viewers think like you throwing people's stuff out. No, there's
Yeah.
junk around the building. So it's
And
already
they had
trash.
plenty of notice.
Oh, absolutely. We
Yeah.
did all the formal notices. We did our procedure. We did the procedure correctly. So, anyways, I'm heading up there. I'm gonna make this short. I'm heading up there. It's about an hour and a half drive or so. I'm heading up there, and I get a call from the junk removal company. And I was like, I'm thinking they're gonna ask me, "Oh, we're here early," because I was gonna be on time. We're here early, and da 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 da. Get a call, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And they were like, I'm laughing already because it's funny. He goes, "Sir, so we're here, and we're standing outside of our truck." I go, "Okay, what's going on?" So we call the police. I go, "Whoa, what's going on?"
Whoa.
Like, whoa, what's going on? Everything okay? Like, well, you got a bunch of your tenants in our dump truck. What's the visual I'm getting here? I didn't. When you hear that, you're like, what could be happening? When they call the cops, what's happening? Really? He says. So we started packing up the truck with the trash that's around the building. And a few of these tenants had a mutiny. I'm gonna use the word mutiny. It said it started with one tenant jumping in the
They
truck,
said mutiny model.
started unloading what essentially is trash. Now, I'm not trying to insult people's stuff. If it's like stuff, like I get it. People have their stuff. It's just stuff. It's just stuff. They say one man's trash is in the middle of the
Oh,
treasure.
yeah.
That whole thing. But guys, my viewers that are looking, this was legitimately trash. I would not tell.
And they were like, "That's mine."
One man jumps in the truck, starts unloading it. He's tossing stuff back
And he
out.
got the rest of them all riled up.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. I said it started with one man.
Yeah.
Then I feel like they all looked out their windows like, "Hey!" And they came down. They all jumped in. And they're tossing stuff. Now they're working together as a team, the tenants, to try to. And I think they had another couple threatening the guys, "You better stay away." So these guys are like this. This is what I could vision. They were like, "All right, it's not worth it." What
Yeah.
I say? I say, "It's not worth it."
Yeah.
It's not worth it. These guys are just working.
Yeah.
They were hired to do a job.
Yeah.
If I were those guys, I would sit it out too. I would call the
Oh, my
police
God.
and I would let these people do their due diligence
Oh,
in
my God.
their situation.
That was so shocking.
Yeah.
To find out.
Man, and I get there and I let me see how this unfolds. I get there, I think the police was getting there right at the same time,
Yeah.
and we're all trying to sort this out. And I had to, so when I got there, this particular story, I said, you're upset. If one, I'm mad because these people's lives were in jeopardy, so they had to do a job.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I get there. These tenants are like pleading with me now. They're like, no, they calm down because I know what happened. They got up. They were probably yelling at these guys before I get there. But now, lo and behold, when I get there, they're like, "Oh, no. Sorry, yeah, this is our stuff." And they downplayed the fact that. But I can imagine when they were doing this, they were threatening those guys' lives and everything because they knew I owned the building. So now they were like, "Sir, no, this is our stuff, and we just didn't want them to take it away." It was more of like they were like pleading for me to like say, "Okay, cool."
That was unhinged.
It was. Now the
Yeah.
police is trying to figure out if there was an assault here. Thank God, there was no assault, right?
Yep.
Because the guys were smart. But think about it. Those guys in those professions, like tow truck drivers and things like that, they could get fiery, like temper, because the nature of their job, they got to be.
If it had been the wrong team or whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There would have been a brawl out there,
Yeah.
right? But there was none of that. And these guys, I thanked them. I apologized to them and thanked them. I was like, I'm sorry, man. You guys are just here to do a job. But yeah, that's one of the many stories to tell. Like these tenants were out there just
That was pretty
causing
unhinged.
mayhem. Man, it was good.
That was pretty unhinged.
It was a good one.
And then we have like, I would say we have a bunch because, so we have an Airbnb up north in the mountains too. And that can be wild. That can be wild.
The Airbnb?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, the thing about the Airbnb is I feel like you and Allison, shout out to Allison Cody. I should know this by now. She's been working with us for years. I'm sorry, Allison, if you're watching this. She's in the studio. I don't even make sure.
Spoiler
My
alert.
bad, Allie. Yeah, she's here. And yeah, so you and her get the stories more than I do because I'm kind of hands off with the Airbnb. However, yeah, y'all got we have the what I would say the craziest story of the Airbnb. You go ahead and tell that one. I'll chime in.
First of all, it's always people from Massachusetts. And I can say that because I'm from Massachusetts too. Okay? It's always people from Massachusetts, and they want to come up to New Hampshire, and they think it's the Wild West up here, and they can do whatever they want, specifically around Boston. Which again, I can say because I'm from Revere. Okay. Okay.
Hey, yo, Massachusetts people, if y'all watching this, I got no problems with y'all, man. I got no beef, no problems. I love y'all, actually.
And always remember, in a heartbeat, I can go from Atkinson to Revere. That Revere comes out.
All right.
And get fiery.
Now tell the story of the Airbnb.
So it was our first guest. That was the crazy thing. It was our first guest. It was like a younger group of kids.
This was our first guest?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was.
And we have outdoor cameras at the Airbnb. It's a beautiful, like, huge yard. And we have outdoor cameras, no indoor cameras. Like, we don't want to be encroaching on people's privacy like that, right?
And neither should nobody out there.
But we disclose, like,
inside.
there's a ton of outdoor cameras, and they know that. So we make them sign something, actually. So, but these people actually made us change our contract because we didn't think to put in our contract what they did. So.
Oh,
they
yes.
did.
Yes.
They did.
I actually told this story to a prospective buyer just a few days ago about this Airbnb story. But go ahead and tell the viewers this one.
So we're like, I'm checking them. This is our first guest. I'm checking them on the camera. I'm like, because you want to check, if they said 8 people are coming, if there's 8, 9, whatever, that's fine. You don't want to make sure 50 people didn't roll up, right? So I'm good. I'm like, the number of people, I'm like, okay, fine. So I see they're setting up a table. And I'm like, this is so cute. They brought games. They're from, Boston. They don't have like maybe yards. And they brought like a ping pong table. Like, this is wicked cute, wicked happy for them. Happy, just wonderful.
Ping pong. So, they're probably doing beer pong now. Now that we know the context of the story. It wasn't ping pong. That was beer pong.
Well, it wasn't anything that I thought that it was.
Actually, it wasn't. Actually, it wasn't.
So I go to bed. And I'm like, let me check the cameras one more time before I drift off to sleep here. So it's late. It's like 11. The ping pong table was a fireworks platform.
Ah.
Like a professional platform. Okay?
Yeah, I remember this. You tell
We're in a residential small town. Okay? These people are releasing bombs. Like in
it was not regular fireworks.
It was not. No, it was not the small little. What are those called? Like the one you wanted to do with Mama.
The M80s.
The M80. No, it's not the. No,
things.
bro. No, it's the big ones, the professional ones, the ones you probably need some kind of license.
Listen,
to buy.
folks, let me tell you what this thing was.
The platform was needed.
I want to tell the viewers what this was. This had to be from the Department of Defense. These things could go to the moon if they had tripods set up here. It was like something I saw in the military when I was in the Marine Corps. It was like something like that. They came to set off bombs over there. It was nuts. On a mountain. You keep going. On a mountain?
On a mountain, right. And this cabin, our Airbnb, was on 10 acres, and the neighbors are not close, right? On the audio, I could hear neighbors screaming, please stop. Like
the mountain was rattling.
Way in the distance.
This mountain
was
rattling.
like wild. So
it was an earthquake.
The cops did not end up coming. I did text the kids, and they were like, they were shocked. They were like, we thought this was fine. We thought this was New Hampshire.
We thought this was New Hampshire. What a great line.
Literally, that's what they said. And I was like, it's New Hampshire, but this is not cool. This is not, like, stop.
And the fact that what would have made it a little better? I'm saying a little better, right? If it was the daytime. This was like
Yeah.
11 at night.
It was
It
late.
was people were
late.
sleeping.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that was the thing.
It was late.
Yeah. So even if it was the little small firecrackers, up there, it's so quiet at night.
Oh, it's so peaceful. Yeah, you just hear
know-
the river in the distance. And
Yeah.
you see the stars, and that's usually how it is.
Yes, it's
Dude.
just so now imagine setting up fireworks.
Oh my God.
Like it was, that was
Unreal.
wild.
You know what's wild too is like just agent stories in general. Like 80% of real estate agents are cool and just like good people, and then 20% are unhinged.
Yeah. Maybe even high, meaning like the number of like cool, good, professional. Like 90. I'll push it up to 90
Okay.
even. It's like a very small percentage. Just like
I respectfully disagree.
But then again, you and I
And-
have had different experiences with this thing. Even though we work as a team, or worked as a team, right? It's like you. I'm gonna say this.
You create this. You make me be the enforcer.
Our
You're like, when someone starts to get spicy, you're like, my wife's gonna call you.
yeah,
And
right.
And they're like, okay.
Yes.
And you're like, no, you don't want my wife to call you.
No. No. So I got very
So maybe I do
great
think that there's more crazy
interactions.
agents because you make me deal with
Now I
crazy
say
ones.
95% of my interactions are great. 5% is like I still give it away. I'm like, deal with that. I don't have time for it. I don't have the
Yeah.
energy.
You bring the positive energy.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
What it was like. So I feel like things get crazy sometimes at walkthrough, right? Like, so final walkthrough, right? Basically, whether we represent the buyer or the seller, everyone knows the house is supposed to be empty. The buyer is literally coming to check the house to see if everything is still as is, how they started at the open house, and that the seller got all their stuff out. That's it. It's not anything, not anything crazy. And so, what is your craziest walkthrough? Because we have a bunch of things like people just leave stuff and.
Yeah, no. The one that sticks into my mind is the one I'm going to share with the viewers. So I go to this thing, walkthrough. We call it walkthrough. So that means this is a time, typically the day before you close you're about to sign your closing papers to finally own the home. Or it can be done sometimes in the morning of that closing. You want to push it closer to the time you're going to closer to the time you're going to sign your documents for closing, because you want to make sure you give those people that lived in the house before enough time to get all their stuff out. Now, the standard is that you got to make sure the house in what we call a broom clean condition, right? So all the stuff out. So even if you don't mop, spray Windex on the thing and clean the house that way, at least give it a good sweeping.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So broom clean condition, we say. So I go to this, this particular walkthrough was done the morning of the closing, because the closing was, say, around noon.
Yeah.
So we get there around 8, 9, And again, there's sufficient time between walkthrough. I mean, so the time you get to walkthrough. It's been weeks, months sometimes.
Oh yeah, they know they gotta
At
be
that
out.
time when
They
I
know
did
they
this
gotta be out.
transaction,
Hell
I think
yeah.
it was like a 45-day close or 60,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So there's enough time for those people. They know the closing is going to happen whatever date. You know how much stuff you got in your house. Get it done, get it out. So the new people are closing that day. They're going to move their stuff in the house. All right? So I get to this walkthrough. And I pull up. My buyers were driving behind me. We drove to the house together. We pull up to the house. There's a U-Haul truck. That's never a good sign. When you go the day of walkthrough, and in certain cases, it's okay because the communication has been done. That agent's like, all right, we're just literally moving this last thing in
There
the
will
U-Haul.
be a U-Haul there, but it's full, it's done, it's good.
Yeah.
This wasn't the case, was it?
No, this was not the case. Pull up. We parked. I look in my rearview mirror. My buyers' face were horrified. Like, you could tell they were like, what's going on? Like, it's a nice young couple.
And this agent,
Yeah.
the whole transaction had been unhinged.
Yeah, just fiery.
She had been like just saying crazy stuff, like
Yep. And then we were just managing her.
yeah.
So we pull up, and literally the first thing we saw was the thing. An AC flying out the window.
The second story window.
again, this is not supposed to happen the day of closing. This is like the day before, like whatever. You want to see if you pull up to the house, you want to see a full U-Haul truck.
Yep.
And a dustpan coming
Yeah.
out with the person like, we just finished everything.
Not
Perfect.
an AC falling out the
They
window.
know I'm getting here at 8:30, so we literally just finished cleaning. Thank you. Not an AC coming out the window. That tells me there's more things in the house. That can't be the last thing these people did. So I was like, So you literally take a breath because you know now you're about to either handle the situation, process with the buyers, calm everybody down,
Yep.
and just hope that
Create
when
a
you walk
solution.
in this
Yeah,
house,
yeah.
that maybe that was the last thing they tossed it out the window.
Yeah.
So I remember going to my buyers, and I said, all right, so, well, I'm still keeping it, keeping it positive.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is good.
Yeah.
I think this is good.
I think we'll be okay here.
Yeah, the U-Haul's here. I mean, it's
Yeah.
good. They're probably wrapping up here.
Yeah.
Wrapping up, right?
Yeah.
I go in the house. We walk gently in the house. Cautiously, I walked in this house, praying the whole time, whatever paces it was from the curb to the house. I walk in the house, and there's pots, pans, tables, old couches. The Asian is furiously working with her clients to clean this house. And she looks at me and she goes, oh yeah, we just have a few more things going on here. I'm seeing pictures on the walls.
She's like sweating, right? She's like.
I'm looking at the time. I know this. I know how much work needs to be done.
And those
here.
people were moving across the country. Right?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, right? So then I was like, okay, let's just walk through the house because this is when I walked in.
Yeah.
We saw this. It's already not good.
Yeah.
Walking through the house, there's stuff everywhere.
You're like, they have 1 hour. There's no way.
1 hour? No, like few hours, right?
No, until closing, I'm saying.
Oh
Like,
yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Closing is like an hour because
Yeah.
you time those things typically.
Yeah.
You want to do your walkthrough. Walkthrough sometimes I've been to walkthroughs and it's like 5-10 minutes
Yep.
and sometimes it's like 20-25 minutes. No more than that because typically the house is clean. You're just making sure the house is intact. That's
Yep.
literally the whole point of walkthrough. That these people cleaned as best as they could and you're getting the house is secure. The roof's not missing. Something in burnout. Whatever. You just make sure the house is good. So I remember going through the house and there's stuff everywhere. And I was like, okay, let me check the attic too while I'm here. Attic is full of stuff. Not even like
Oh my
one
God.
item up there. I
remember
do
that.
one of those pull downs, open it, there's junk. I go, okay, so this is not good. I go to the agent. Now I'm like, all right, I gotta deal with this, right? So I said, yeah, so this is not okay.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
She said this to me. Well, there's just a few things here. Maybe the buyers would like all this stuff. And the first thought I had in my mind was like, you think my buyers want the pictures of this family up on the walls? Because they were still here. You're telling me they want the picture frames of that family? They should keep that. They should keep. And this house had trash.
Stop it.
So again, the trash bags that were outside of the house too, that was another thing I didn't tell. They had, typically, again.
Oh, they were like, the trash pickup's going to come, right?
Right, but if it was like 2-3 bags full of trash and you say to that person like, hey, we think the trash pickup is next for another day or two or next week, so when it comes, can you please, that's cool.
Cool, yeah.
There were like 10 to 15 bags of the big hefty bags.
And a couch and like.
On the side of the house. Courtesy would at least say, at least pull it to the street.
To the curb, yeah.
Right, to the curb.
Yeah.
They were like, oh yeah, and maybe you could just like.
And like typically in this scenario, we would move the closing, right? We would be like, you guys need another week here. Like you need whatever. But that couldn't happen because our buyers didn't have a place to go and these people were going across the country. So this was like a huge domino effect.
Yeah.
So we needed to, they had like an hour.
Yeah,
Like,
so I remember what happened. I ended up telling the agent too, and she was shocked. I said, all right, well, I see this is not gonna get done. I'm calling the attorney right away. We have to move the closing. What? No,
Oh, and then you called me there.
No.
Remember that?
What do you mean?
You called me to come there.
Oh, yeah, wherever you were. I was like, maybe I am being like not, I'm being crazy here. Maybe I need not a voice of reason. Maybe, and you came.
Because the agent got feisty with you, so you called me.
Oh, like what typically happens, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't have time. Because in my logical mind we don't have time. This is not. I'm very calm. I'm not gonna argue.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fight. This can't happen. I'm calling the attorney right now. We got to push the closing. We're going to push the closing to however long it takes to clean the house. My buyers are not going to.
She had the nerve to get mad at you.
My buyers are not going to acquire this junk. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. It's very unprofessional, right? And you don't want to start being insulting and everything like that. So I will say the minimal stuff again because I don't put my energy in that stuff. I'm like, logically, it's not going to happen. It's not going to. I called you. You came. You were horrified because you typically don't go to the walkthroughs. I do them, right?
Yeah.
At that time. And what was your reaction? I forget.
I just remember I got in a fight with her on the front lawn.
Yeah.
Not a physical fight.
Right. Thank God.
But, yeah.
Thank God.
I was like, this is what we're doing, and so I think we held back money from the sellers.
Okay.
Until they I think we closed that day, but we held back money from them to make sure that they got all the stuff out, and that was what I told her was going to happen.
Yeah, and ended up being done. I think it ended up being, we closed that same day. It was just pushed back, like,
it was time-wise pushed back, and then we did a hold back to make sure.
Yeah, but you know what? Also, that particular instance is just because we care so much for our clients. You know what I mean? Like, I was not gonna allow. I don't care. Those my buyers, obviously they were excited about it. That's the first thing. It was a young couple, super nice. You know who I'm talking about. So, very nice. And you and I go that extra mile for all our clients. Like I tell people, I will go to bat. Like once we take you on, we're with you till the end, right? To the finish line. Till you get this property. If it's a sale, we're gonna make sure it's sold. If it's a buy, purchase, we're gonna make sure we see you through. So my thing about that whole situation was like I'm not gonna allow, even if emotionally, some people would be like, it's okay, I'll deal with it because they want that house.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, protection-wise, there's a lot of principles, there's a lot of reasons why this should be done. Like, it's not because I know you want the house. You got to protect them from themselves at that time now, right? You're like, no, let me do my job. I got this. This house needs to be in a certain condition. It's not that, and we're not doing this. And I remember but you know what? I remember that too. So sorry, so many things about this story. They trusted me so much with that.
They just like stepped back.
Yeah, they saw why. They knew it was for their best interest as much as they were excited and wanted to close right away.
Yeah.
I was like, no. And they're like, whatever you say, Patrick.
Yeah.
And those are the clients we love.
Yeah.
Like, they know we're doing this for them.
And I think that story is such a good example of how real estate, we say like it's hard, but it's not hard, right? It's like you got to work hard, you got to hustle and everything, you got to stand up for your client sometimes, but it's also like it can be really profitable if you have those problem solving and people skills.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? And if you can like navigate, like literally, that's the stuff we got paid for. It's like, you show the houses, but it's like you get really paid to like come in and deal with like, okay, you're here and you're here. How can we bring everyone together to the closing table? How can we like solve this?
Yeah.
And we talked a lot about that on, I think it was episode 8 when or 7 or 8, when we were just like explaining like, listen, if you want to get it, if you want to be a real estate agent, this is how much money you can make. This is the good and the bad and the ugly, but it's doable.
Yeah.
But like, do you have those people skills and those skills just to be able to like solve those big problems? That's what you get paid for.
Yeah.
You know.
And another thing I say to people, whether it's like somebody that's not in the business or a newer agent that's coming in and learning the business, real estate is not complicated. It's the people in the transaction that make it complicated.
Yes.
It's not. It's not. Once
Yep.
on its very basic level. So, but yeah, you grow, you learn, and you get fun stories like
this
this.
was fun.
I know.
Reminiscing.
It was
a
what we
little
wanted
bit.
to do. We wanted to share some fun stories with our viewers.
Yeah.
Have we got any viewers from another country? I'm enjoying that when I get the stats and the data. So we got Canada, got Russia, we got what other countries out there that are subscribing to our show? It's pretty cool.
I think Ukraine now. We have
Ukraine?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. When I last checked. I haven't checked it in about a week or so. But
Yeah, okay.
shout out to everyone. Yeah, thank you guys for listening. We actually have one more episode in our first season. This is episode 9. So
I'm
we're gonna
excited about our next
This
guest.
flew by. We're wrapping up season 1.
Yeah.
Next week we have an amazing guest coming on.
Yeah.
Let's keep it a secret for now.
Okay. But I'm so excited for my next guest.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of ours.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a banger.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for always tuning into the Mutiny Model. And please like, share, and subscribe. It helps us out in the algorithm if you got any value at all out of today's show. We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.